One. All right. I'm hoping you can see me and hear me. Let's see. Seems to get a black screen going up to YouTube right now, which isn't really filling me with joy, but let's see if that catches on. There we go. All right, so you can see I'm currently in the middle of setup. Yeah, because you can see that I'm still on the green screen down at the bottom. That's okay. Still got 12 minutes before the start of today's row on the EXR app. If you haven't gone to exrgame.com/events and registered for this morning's Rise and Row, if you're using the EXR app, please do. Remember, you can get a 14-day trial of EXR if you haven't used it before. It's possibly not enough time for you to do that now. In fact, while I'm checking watches, I'll turn on my MyZone. Yes, there might not be enough time for you to install it and sort that out now, in which case if you're doing it live with me on YouTube, then hi, welcome, how are you? And just remember, I'll say this in the main row just for the people that join later, but remember when you'll see EXR in the background running and it's all looking a bit kind of stuttery frame rate wise, that's just because of the streaming. The software itself is fantastic and smooth and lovely and beautiful, okay? Just like me. Although I have had a haircut, so at least that makes me a little bit better. Right, I think it says there are 10 people, I've got 10 concurrent viewers, so I'm just going to type in hello into the chat while I get a chance. Remember, if you want to do a warm-up while you're waiting and I'm doing all this stuff, please do. Just some light rowing, whatever. Today's another 45-minute row going on a relatively small loop. My plan is, or was, to take it easy and then do sprints. We'll have to see how that goes. I'll explain more about that when we're doing it. Right, I just got to quickly set up the green screen side of what's going on down at the bottom. So, where are we? Chroma key, green screen. And hopefully, as if by magic, well, there is a little bit of you can see there's a little bit of gash at the end, but that's okay. Listen, these things are, I don't think I'm fooling anyone into you actually thinking I'm rowing in a virtual studio, in a real studio anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's take this right to the end, because there we go. Hopefully that then catches up with me. Right, so yeah, hey, CBDB's here. Hiya, how are you? Nice to see you. So, you can see I'm on the RP3 today, and one of the most important things I need to get set up, because the last time I used the RP3, I messed up the balance of it, and so I kept on whacking the front of the machine every time I was rowing. So I need to quickly, because you can see I'm sliding as I sit on it, I roll to the back, and so I need to quickly make sure that I'm not going to be off screen or hitting the backstop when I'm rowing. So I think that's okay. I might bang the button on the back just to rise it up a little bit, just a tiny amount. I'm not entirely sure whether it's like where you start rowing from, but like I said, when I sit on it, I roll to the back. But the problem is if I've got the back too high, everything wants to go to the front and I end up smacking it off the front stop, whatever you'd call it. So not entirely, yeah, so. Right. I'm definitely still, I don't want to spend, remember the last time I was on the RP3, I spent the whole row just messing around with the height. And as we've got 8 minutes before the start of today's row, I'm hoping I can use those 8 minutes to get this set up properly. Is that it? That seems better. I'll talk more about this machine again in today's row. Right, so what's left? I need to connect. So now we've got that sorted, I can go back to the chat window. There we go. So I need to connect the RP3 to EXR, because you can see it's in the background saying, please connect RowAlong. So if I found out last time that if I connect the cable Oops, what's my passcode for this? Is it that? Yeah, if I connect the cable to the monitor, it keeps the monitor alive, and that way I can then, hopefully, it'll keep it alive and see it. There we go, RP3 Model T. I'll talk about my Garmin during today's row as well. Unfortunately, my rather expensive Garmin watch is a rather expensive watch because the heart rate side of it has stopped working. Fortunately, I'm still wearing my MyZone, so hopefully, there we go. MyZone is basically just it's like a heart rate monitor, but it's got, the whole thing is that the app shows you clearly what zone you're in and whatever, and then there's a whole bunch of there is a community aspect to it, and then like a website and an app off the back of it. Nothing particularly special. If you are interested, I think I get like a £20% discount on them. So, right, I'm gonna set the RP3 to a quick session, just to make sure it's there. Do I want to go to Rise and Row? Yeah, I suppose I really should, shouldn't I? Let's go. Okay, and that should, the whole point of joining the specific events, look at all the people here today. 49 people. Now, I don't know whether that 49 is the amount of people who have registered their interest in the row, but not actually 49 people who have turned up. I think that's what Maxim told me. So I've got 5 and a bit minutes to go. Now, I do need to try and work out how I can see that better if I'm going to do the sprint sessions. Anyway, yes, sorry, I'll just quickly finish off that thought. So, the whole point of registering, going to exrgame.com/events to register is so that when you click, it gives you the option to do the Rise and Rows coming up. Do you want to do it? And then we all sit here on the start line to row off together. I think you can just join the same course if you haven't joined the proper official kind of event. You can just kind of sit here with the rest of us going, hi, am I part of this? But you don't then get like the extra coins at the end for doing it. And there is like a couple of added things that being part of a group row gives you. Or they will. Oh, look at me stretching. Oh, look, hey. Anyway, so here we go. For folks that are on YouTube doing it, this is kind of, this is what EXR is. So there we go. But I'm still going to be rowing it along and streaming. So if you don't have EXR, then that's perfectly fine. Now, how far back? I seem to be quite far back on the stream. Hang on, maybe every time I go back to the OBS app, it runs slow. Because there's, yeah, I'm now seeing, anyway, sorry. I'm jumping around with all my things. What's left? So I've got the RP3's connected to EXR. EXR's connected to the laptop. Everything seems to be connected. I do have my heater running in the background. You can probably still hear it going. So I need to try and find the remote for that to turn it off. Because, I mean, who stands up? I also need to hit, tell you what I didn't do, and I'm going to quickly do this now. I didn't hit record on the camera. There we go. Because it's been some kind of errors in terms of trying to get a decent recording of, every time I've done the RP3, I haven't made a decent recording and I haven't been able to upload it. Where's the remote for my heater? Oh, I'm gonna have to use my legs. See, look, I'm breaking the fourth wall because you can see me walking around and my head popping out of the top of the screen. There we go. Not that it matters, the noise of the RP3 is gonna be louder than the heater anyway, but still, right. I can see my wee head poking at the top of the screen. Who's that? Sean's here again. Hey, how you doing? You have a good row too. Just remember, it's just a nice Sunday morning group row. Let's not get the heart rate up too high. No, of course, if you want to get your heart rate up high, you can. So I'm gonna say this just because I wasn't running the camera, and so I want to say it just so I've got it as a kind of a intro for if I get a chance to make this up before. But welcome to this morning's group row. Okay, the Rise and Row row along on EXR app. Remember, you can get a trial version of EXR if you don't have it. Just go to exrgame.com. Once you have it, go to exrgame.com/events to find the Rise and Row with RowAlong. I thought I got that wrong way around. Then was it Row and Rise or Rise and Row? Yeah, and then you can join in on a Sunday morning. It's a nice gentle row. Today we're doing 45 minutes round. One of them is it Henley we're doing. Yeah, and my plan is to go slow until the sprint sections, as long as I can see them. The way I've got the computer set up, I might not be able to see it. And I'm just going to quickly fire up Discord to see if Tech Toby's there, because he normally is, and I don't want to leave him alone in case he is. Servers. 1 second caller, where voice channels, group rowing, join voice. That's just me there for the time being, so I don't know whether I'll probably, I think my earbuds are on. Hello, hello. Yeah, so got 1.5 minutes. So you can see I'm not even rowing yet because I'm basically going to use the first sections, up until the first sprint as a way to row up. Very gentle pace. See you on the lake from HP. Yay, good to see you, HP. Yeah, so a nice gentle pace. I'm going to take it up in pace when it comes to the sprints. I don't know if I'm going to sprint, but again, I'll talk to you about that in the row. But I did say last week that I was going to start off with a refresher for a technique point of view. So bear with me for the first like 5 minutes or whatever as I just talk technique through what would effectively be our warm-up. Yay! Cool, right. I'll put my ear... Oh, what? What do you mean to connect? All right, hang on. My earbuds are in connect mode. I've got 45 seconds to turn them on again. Right, hopefully that means, apologies if you can't actually hear me on Discord. I didn't realize I was in connect mode. It is flashing as though I am there. So, yeah, and again, it'll just be one of my soliloquies where I'm just talking away and I give you no room to talk back to me. 20 seconds to go for, yeah, I was going to say but it's all very confusing because of the delay on YouTube. That's the problem, that you're like 20 seconds behind me, so, but it all works out in the end. It's only if you've got extra running at the same time. So, here we go, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. It looks like Lewis has just popped in and said hello as well. So I'm going to take this really gently to start. And I just want to work on what's going on with my body because I am rather stiff this morning. I'll explain why later, but I need to get my body moving properly first before I think about any kind of intensity. You can see I'm down at 2:24 pace right now, taking it nice and easy. And what I'm thinking about at this stage is my hip rock. So all I'm really concentrating on is trying to get that forwards rock as I come into the front of the machine, or as the machine comes into the front of me. Hard way to describe on the RPG, to be honest. So I can tell that I'm shrugging my shoulders as I come forwards right now. And that's, for me anyway, a sign of quite a tight lower back. Right, there is a sprint coming up, but I'm not doing it, okay? It's too soon for me. I'm still warming up here. By all means, sprint if you like, but I'm not going to. So all I'm concentrating on is tilting forwards over my hips. I'm not really thinking at any point about the backwards tilt, because you kind of, that takes care of itself, really. Well, I haven't hit record on the iPad, oh whatever. Sorry, I knew I'd forget something. The backwards tilt, you push and your body's gonna do that. Okay, it's very rare that you're gonna be like this the whole time with no backwards lean. This is fun though. So, as long as you're putting in power, that happens. So all you have to do is think about tilting forwards over the hips. And that will create that forwards and backwards tilt, that pivot, the rock that you're looking for. And so if you spend the first couple of minutes of a warm-up really just concentrating on that to open up your hips, to help with that compression into the front, you'll feel your body loosen off. And then you can start to concentrate a little bit more on how far forwards am I sliding? Am I shins vertical? Am I past shins vertical? Luckily, I've got a little video display down here so I can watch myself. And that can help. I mean, whether you're doing it in real time while you're rowing, or whether you do it and watch the video afterwards, I do recommend videoing yourself. You don't even have to send it to me to do a review. Just film yourself and say, right, am I sliding to shins vertical? Are my arms straight as I come forwards? Do I have a forwards tilt towards the front of the machine? And then the last thing really to look at when it comes to the catch is your posture, making sure that you're sitting tall, but it's not like you're rigid upright, okay? You're not door. You want to be powerful, but flexible. Tilted to the front. And then, like I say, try and keep your shoulders out of your ears. Nice relaxed arms. Fingers hooked over the handle. It's not a death grip. So I can just have fingers hooked, thumbs not touching if I want. But I tend to just rest my thumbs underneath, like a kind of safety lock. I don't like thumbs on top. I feel that sends the power through my forearms. I know I just missed another sprint, but I want to warm up properly. Yeah, I might actually miss a whole bunch of sprints because I can't see the little icon down at the bottom. I need to fix this computer setup so I can see both screens properly. Anyway, fingers hooked over the handle, forwards tilt, shoulders out of your ears, slide until shins vertical, arms straight, and then push the machine away. And that's where dynamic ergs like this RP3 really do come into their own. That feeling of pushing the machine away, because you literally are pushing the machine away. Because I know everyone here is a perfect rower, but new rowers often think that rowing is about pulling the handle as hard as they can. It's all about upper body. Whereas we all know it's not. It's about pushing with your legs and holding that forwards tilt, arms straight, as you push to let the power surge into the machine. And so that's what I'm concentrating on now, is the legs, the straight arms, and then only swinging over my back when I'm about halfway through the leg drive, and then only at the back do I finally pull in the handle up to sternum height, trying to keep flat wrists. I often don't. Elbows through my sides. You can have a slight outwards flare of your elbows, but you don't want them to be like chicken wings out to the side, because that flare will help keep your wrists flat and the power going through, whereas chicken wings turns it all into the delts up here. But if you send your elbows through, it turns it into your lats, which are much bigger, more powerful, and they'll take the repeated finish, that power at the back, a lot better than your delts. And then, as the handle comes in, just let it release from your body again at the same, I'm not doing this sprint either, at the same pace it came in at. So you in, out. It's not a rush, you're not throwing it away, you're not lifting it up in the air, but you don't really need to scrape it off your knees either. Just straight in and out. And then once the handle is away, re-engage that forward tilt again, bend the knees, and you will slide effortlessly to the front of the machine because all of your momentum is moving forwards. Your knees just add in that last little bit of energy, but you shouldn't be tugging yourself in the foot straps to get to the front, because that will collapse your posture, and then that ruins your power profile going through your stroke, and also causes a lot of discomfort. Right, look at that. 10 minutes, I told you. 10 minutes done. Right, so I'll try to keep an eye on upcoming sprints now, if I can. Like I said, I can't see the world view circle down at the bottom, so I don't want to stop and move it today, because I mean, as much as I say, hey, it's not about me, it's about you, I get the feeling it would be quite annoying when you're rowing away and you keep on seeing me climbing off the machine. So I'm hoping I can get through all 45 minutes today. Is that Kirsty Monday? Happy birthday, James Monday. Oh, that's nice. I hope James Monday is one of the people rowing today. Otherwise, that's a rather random post. However, excuse me a second. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Andrew Fielden. Happy birthday to you. It's quite nice you just popped up on the screen as I started singing that. The wonders of Facebook popped up this morning telling me that Andrew has a birthday. Roger Ravelli, another RowAlong group member, has a birthday. Joe White, a guy I used to compete against, it's his birthday. And as Kirsty has just told us on the YouTube chat, it's also James's birthday. It's a popular day to be born. And not that I want to make it all about me, but it's 9 days until my birthday, February 20th, in case you're interested. It'll be the last of my 40s this year, which is fun. It also means I can make a proper decision. Oh, have I missed it? I did miss it. I have to make a proper decision about what to do when I turn 50. Do I get back into competitive indoor rowing as the young pup? Right, how can I make sure not to miss the next one. I can't really. I don't know how long it will be. Let's keep an eye out on time before the next one. So that was around about 13 minutes we passed that one. Maybe that's how I can do this. So, I've got to say, I'm quite surprised that I've not kind of collapsed in the corner 14 minutes into this row saying, I'm so tired. Because yesterday was a long day of exercise for me. I spent the morning out with the kayak club, still continuing to learn how to kayak. And then the afternoon, I went and did a high rocks sim, a simulation of a high rock. So it's like where they run it in a gym. This was at the Girl Code box in a CrossFit style gym that's not far away from me. And I think by the end of the day, from exercise alone, I had burned 2,500 calories. So it's fair to say I had quite a big dinner last night. Well, it wasn't actually that big. It was diced chorizo with peppers, mushrooms, onions, peas, I know, healthy, and rice. And then half a garlic baguette. Really with two, yeah, I forgot about this, but with 2 poached eggs on top. Oh, river sprint coming up, okay. Probably a few strokes for me. 1 more stroke for me. And let's sprint. Oh, hang on, it's a 300-meter sprint. I do like sprinting on an RP3 though. Oh, up at 40. Cool. Come on, 100 meters. Oh, this is long. Oh, oh. How could anyone do that in 39 seconds? Oh. Let's recover a bit. Oh. That was a rather rude awakening. Oh. Let's get the power back in. I hope if you sprinted as well, just take a few strokes to recover a nice active recovery. I'll quickly, so yeah, all of that with 2 poached eggs on top. And then I had a cheat afterwards where I had 2 Marks and Spencer's white chocolate chip cookies. But I figured having burned off 2,500 calories during the day just through exercise, plus another 2,000 just for being alive, I think I was allowed 2 cookies. And then actually, this kind of feeds in quite nicely. While we were having our dinner, here we go, get back on point. Julie and I watched The Boys in the Boat. And it's the benefits of being in the TV business. And enjoyed it. Another sprint. That's only 100. Okay, let's do it. 2, 1, sprint. Anyway, what did I get up to just then? Oh, I can't see. Don't think I'll be doing that many more times, but one of the things that I was kind of curious about in the film was when they were rowing and the cox was calling out stroke rates, and it seemed that like 28 was an easy rate for them. It's like back off to 28, which I don't know about you, but as an indoor rower, 28 is the point where the intensity starts to get up there for me. I suppose they are racing, so it's not like they want to take it easy, so. But then towards the end of races, the cox is like, up to 42. And I'm like, 42? My wheels would spin off. But what's interesting is that I was up at 42 just then in the 100-meter sprint. So I suppose that's the difference between looking at this from a static concept 2 experience point of view and using something like this, which is much more similar in kind of the mechanics, how it feels to being in a boat. Not how it feels, obviously this is nothing like being in a boat, but the fluid floating motion of the row. Because I've said before that, and I showed it before, that I can take my feet out the straps in an RP3 and get up to like, well, I didn't actually top out how fast I went, but I was certainly rowing at 36 strokes a minute with feet out the straps. There's no way I could do that in the Concept 2. I think the highest I can go is about 26 on a static Concept 2 before I fall off the back. Whereas because you don't really have that momentum sending you backwards on a dynamic erg like at RP3. But what's the next sprint? 300 meters. I'm so not doing this, sorry folks. Enjoy it if you're gonna do it. I might just stick to the 100s. We can see my little ghost going away in the distance. Yeah, so being on this today makes me go, all right, okay, so they could get up to 42 and whatever on a boat. Stop thinking from a from a static Concept 2 point of view. I mean, this RP3 really is an absolute dream to row on for so many reasons. Like I said earlier on, the fact that it does make you focus on pushing the machine away, that this makes the stroke be all about legs. There's no way you can be a gym brute and make this go fast just by pulling on the handle. It has to be about that push and then finishing with the handle. So if you're ever stuck and you're like, I just can't get the feeling of holding the forwards tilt and pushing with my legs, try to find someone that has one of these, or you could always buy slides for your Concept 2, or even get the dynamic from Concept 2, or get one of the RP3 range, for which I wonder if they're going to add a new model soon. I do wonder. Anyway, so yes, I really like this. Yes. In fact, tell you what, I'm going to go on a machine rant. Is that okay? Just until the next 100-meter sprint. So this time last year, or maybe say around about this time last year, I was very much a dyed-in-the-wool, thou shalt only row on a Concept 2. Everything else is just a pretender. And then I started to talk to the smart row people who make the force pulley for water rowers. And they really kind of opened my eyes to at least the possibility of other machines, and maybe I was being quite close-minded without giving other machines a proper chance. I mean, I'd used a water rower once before, but it was broken. All right, 100-meter sprint coming up. Let's do this one. But yeah, it was broken, so I didn't like it. Right, where are we going? Okay. About 4 more strokes maybe. I might miss the actual start. Okay. Okay. So let's see what my stroke rate gets up to. 43. So anyway, I got myself a water rower and kind of approached it from a different mindset. Not thinking this is different to a Concept 2. Well, typical lightweight on the RP3. Shut it. You'll have to explain more though. Anyway, so yeah, so the water rower, I just started to use it thinking, right, I'm not looking at this from a Concept 2 point of view. Is it giving me a good workout? Am I able to get into the right body positions, etc.? And the answer is yes. Okay, the water rower is a nice machine to row on. You can get into all the right angles. You can get a good workout. Yes, it's a lot harder to change the resistance in terms of adding or taking out water. But you know what? I think the majority of people, me included, find their sweet spot and then leave it there. Because after all, most rowing machines, it's about the power you put into it rather than the resistance that the machine gives you. And then, a few months later, the RP3 people got in touch and offered a loan of this for me to try out. And again, I was like, well, the RP3 is a specialist machine designed for people who want to learn, want to kind of improve their on the water rowing because of the dynamic. I'm not too sure if I'm going to like it. Man, I love this machine. It really is so nice to row on. And then, of course, a few months later after that, the Avalon people called and said, would I like to start making workouts for them? Which, to be honest, that was the biggest gamble. Because you look at the Avalon, and it's a spaceship, okay? And it looks, I think there's possibly a knee-jerk reaction to it because it looks like the Peloton or Hydro or whatever. It looks like it's one of these machines that's, I'm not doing the 300, don't worry. The Avalon can look as though it's just trying to take advantage of the home gym market and it's not actually that good a rowing machine. But that can all be further from the truth. Yes, it's aimed towards the home user. It's not aimed towards rowers. It's aimed for people who want a rowing workout at home and they want to be entertained, motivated, distracted, whatever, by games or scenic rowing or me. But again, can I get a good workout from it? Can I get into the right positions? Totally. And does its resistance grow with me? Yep. If you put it up to 16, the top end, it actually adds in a magnetic resistance to make it more about strength. So it kind of leaves the world of rowing a little bit. The higher you go, it's like 100 pounds worth of resistance you get. But it's not aimed at rowers, it's aimed at home users who want options. Now, of course, the worry is that they all sit down and instantly set it to 16. Whereas I do most of my videos at 10 or 12 on the Avalon. But don't worry, this isn't a sales pitch for them. It's a sales pitch for Concept 2, Water Rower, RP3, and Avalon, to be honest. Because fundamentally, the question you have to ask yourself about any machine you sit down on is, can I get into the right positions and can I give myself the workout I want from it? So that means it doesn't feel really light and you don't really get the intensity up, but it also doesn't feel kind of sticky and rigid and you don't get flow from it. And then can you get in to these body positions? And this is where the cheap machines, the ones that you find on Amazon for a couple £100, that's how you identify them. The ones that you know you wouldn't be able to get into the front with arms straight and a forwards tilt and your shins at vertical. Any machine that restricts your motion into the front, run away. And if you see somebody else thinking about buying one, tell them to run away. And go look for a second-hand Concept 2 or similar. Which does bring in actually what's the right word? Let's just say amount of Concept 2 knockoffs, like exactly the same design of machine, but like the monitor's different. Are they worth it? I'd say no, to be honest. I think if you're going to go for something that looks like a Concept 2, get a Concept 2. Because that way you get access to all of the apps and communities and races and things, which is one of the things that really, when you boil it down, Concept 2 leads the way when it comes to connectivity, racing. Did I miss the 100 just then? Sorry. Yeah, and if you're if you are training to race at something like the World Indoor Rowing Championships, train on the Concept 2. I mean, you'll still get close, but I think right now the majority of my rowing is done on the Aviron while I make videos for them. It's really only Sunday mornings right now that I spend a good chunk of time on the RP3, Water Rower, or Concept 2. And then yesterday when I went to do the High Rocks Sim, and I sat down for the 1,000-meter row, it took a couple of strokes just to get the timing right of the catch, making sure to push the feet at the same time the handle connects, because this does feel slightly different at first. Every time I change machine, I'm like, oh yeah, it's this one. Where's Lewin next to me? Andrew. We got the 300 coming up. I'm not doing that. Oh no, is this just a lap? Finishing. Whew. Where are we? So less than 10 minutes to go. I might take it easy on the next 300, but then I'll sprint the 100, and if the 300 comes round again, I'll do that again. But that first 300 was a little bit of a shock to the system, and so my brain right now was like, you don't want to do that again. And actually, tell you what, that brings me on to my other favorite topic right now, which is my kayak training. And don't worry, I'm not going to talk about it, but what I do want to talk about is that because I'm a total newbie to this, right, so I'm taking this one easy, this 300-meter sprint. Because I'm a total newbie to the kayak stuff, I'm needing to learn how to do the trickier elements. I mean, you can get in a kayak and waggle your paddle and make it move. But there is technique, much like rowing, to do it properly and to stay in a straight line. But what I'm talking about is the safety rescue stuff. So the very first week I went to do pool training, they had me upside down in the swimming pool doing the kind of how to get out of the kayak thing, which was again quite a rude start. But last week they were doing the next step up, which is using another boat to push yourself up, or push yourself upright, rather than having to come out of your kayak. And I just couldn't get it. And the problem with not getting it is that you really only have about 30 seconds before you start to say, I need to breathe now. I need to come up for air. And it's not that panic sets in because you can get out, but it suddenly becomes very aware, to me anyway, how dangerous it could be to be in that situation, but also I wasn't enjoying it. Gotta say, I was like, I don't like this. And I was thinking about it afterwards, and it's the same way as when I was learning to drive, like 2-3 lessons in, I felt that I didn't have control of the car, I wasn't comfortable. The instructor was great, but I just didn't feel happy. But then I knew I wanted to learn how to drive. And I also knew I was learning something that I just didn't know how to do. And so that's why you have people teaching you, and why you listen to them and do what they say. And then eventually things fall into place. Now, I'd love to say that happened on Tuesday night in the swimming pool, but it didn't. I was still left going, ugh. But I just thought the same thing. Here's a crossroads. They were part of that training I just didn't enjoy. But do I want to continue to learn how to kayak? Then the answer to that is yes. And do I understand that the reason I found it hard is because it's something I've never had to do before, and I need to learn how to do it? Yeah. And especially, so part of it is because you have to do a kind of a sideways hip flick. Oh, hang on, we're coming up to the 100-meter sprint. I'll shut up for a second. Got 2 more strokes. Here we go. And I'll read that comment in a second. CBDBDB. You should be rowing, not typing. Right. CBDB just said, next time, Eskimo roll should be easy on my log. Yes, I'm back into slightly more intense pace. Anyway, yeah, so you have to do like a hip flick to get yourself upright again while pushing yourself off a boat or kayak that's come up to the side of you to help you push off it. This is all from underwater. What has dawned on me is I just don't have oblique muscles at all. Everything I do is backwards and forwards. Rowing, backwards and forwards. Running, fair enough, I'm turning corners sometimes, but cycling, no obliques. Even the high rock stuff, everything is about moving forwards. So until my next proper pool training session, I'm trying to do a lot of side bends and dry water training to help build my core to help with that hip flick. And let's see if that, along with trying to practice the technique on the dry land as well, then means I'm a bit more comfortable the next time I try it. because I'm going to have to do it until I get it right. Because there's no way I'm going out properly into a river or a loch until I know how to deal with what I hope will never happen, but a capsize. Because right now, like yesterday, was just 9 kilometers on the canal near me. In fact, if you are following me on Strava, you'll see it very slow. It's only like an average of 5 kilometers an hour because there's a paddle boarder and a couple of canoeists too. Oh man, there's enough time for this sprint to finish really, isn't there? Okay, let's finish strong. Oh, here we go. I don't think I can manage 1:36 pace this time. I'll stick to 35-ish strokes per minute and 1:45-ish pace. And then hopefully there'll be a couple of strokes left to cool down. 100 meters to go for me. Keep the power up if you're sprinting. Oh, I didn't make it through it. Oh, right. Just continue rowing lightly. So, EXR says participants 49, but I don't know if that was actually 49 of you. But if it was, thanks for joining me. Maybe you don't even, I mean, do you not listen to me while you're doing it? I can see that being irritating though if you were on the app and then listening to YouTube in the background because of the delay. So HB, thanks for the training. It's a pleasure. Oh, Bob Bartle didn't join us today. No, he's at work. I hope you have a good day. I hope you enjoy your job. It'd be awful if you were, if you were pulled away from something you want to do for something you have to do that you don't enjoy doing. I mean, when it comes to work, I'd obviously rather not work. I'd rather spend my time making these videos and things. But I do enjoy my job. In case you didn't know, I'm an editor for TV programs. So I sit there at a computer and edit all of the stuff that people film together. I'm finishing off a independent job right now, and then I'm on to a program called This Farming Life for BBC Two. I'm on that until December. Whew, it's gonna be a long run. But I've actually managed to wangle kind of quite long breaks in between episodes, so I can focus on making a bunch of videos over them as well. Because I have to remember you guys. Right, I'm stopping there. I'll read a couple of the messages. Whew. That was a tough one after yesterday's exertions for me. I hope you enjoyed it. Right, where do we go? CBDBDB enjoys with nice, enjoyed that, thank you. Good, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hoppy Theo, see you next week. I will see you next week too, thank you for joining. Bonnie Dundee, first time, great fun. Oh great, well thanks for coming Bonnie. I wanted to make some kind of a Crocodile Dundee reference there, that's what the pause was for, and then I kind of caught myself going, don't say that. I bet she hears that all the time. So sorry about that. But great name though, Bonnie Dundee. You sound like, you should be like I don't know, some kind of wartime fighter pilot who's coming to the rescue, Bonnie Dundee. I've got a friend, Alan McLean, and he's got a son called Red. And do you not think Red McLean sounds like a fighter pilot from World War II? Who's coming now? It's Red McLean. I said it more like Terrence and Phillip from South Park, sorry. Right, okay. Sean, well done. Thanks again, thanks for the training. Bob, oh, there's a few more who's come down. See you next week. Yeah, cool. And after the friendly. So, by the way, Lewis, Len, thank you very much for calling me a lightweight. I'm currently around about 79, so I'm not quite there. But it's very nice of you to call me a lightweight. I'll take that. But yeah, so all thoughts of if I am going to return to indoor rowing racing properly next year, I have to kind of, A, I have to get faster. B, I have to want to get faster, because currently, I mean, I'm quite happy to say that my brain's just not in it. Just the thoughts of doing a 2K flat out right now just don't appeal to me. And I have to get around that if I'm going to come back to racing. And I also have to lose at least 4 kilograms. But that's okay. Right, Soaring Guy, thanks, enjoyed that. Hopefully we'll see you all next week. What's next week? Let's think about this. It's the 11th today, is that right? So it's the 18th next week. Yeah, fine, so I'll be all right. I'm just because I'm going out for dinner on the Saturday night to like birthday dinner. Just going out, me and Julie are going out for a nice dinner together. But I'll still be okay for coming in on a Sunday morning for this. So it'll be up again. James Walker, thanks, John. My first time too. Great way to stay motivated. Nice winky face. Yeah, oops, one of my earbuds just fell out. Hopefully you can still hear me on Discord. But yeah. Cool. Yep, you too. Thanks for joining me on Discord as well, actually. Thank you so much for everybody for joining me. The downside to this is it keeps on rolling back. Now I've got it in the right place, and so I have to keep on pushing it away. I'm sure I've got the balance of this RP3 thing wrong anyway. Right, and James Monday, there we go. We'll end with James Monday. Oh no, we can't, because Sean's just said, hang on, Sean, have a great Sunday, everyone. Happy birthday for next week. That's very kind of you. But I'll end with James Monday, because you're a big part of today's row, because it's your birthday. I know it's Andrew's as well, but I already sang happy birthday to you, so it's not all about you, it's all about James. But I'm not going to sing to you, I'm afraid, James. You just have to get Kirsty to do that for you, okay? Just pretend. But yeah, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to anybody else that has a birthday today or coming up over the next week or whatever. Gosh, it's like a kid's show now. It's like, and here's Brian, age 5. He's going to be 6 in 2 weeks' time. Yes. Right, so I'm off. Thank you so much for joining me for this 45-minute row. Next week, I'll be back on a concept 2, because I'm liking to kind of rotate them through a water rower last week. So just in case you prefer seeing me, I know some people do still feel very alienated. In fact, I had a big, long conversation with someone earlier on in the week who just can't handle seeing me on an Aviron, unfortunately. If that's how he feels, that's how he feels. But hopefully, remember, it's not the machine that matters. Hopefully my little rant said that. It's not the machine that matters, it's you that matters. How you use it is what matters here, okay? It's not the machine you're using, and it's certainly not the machine I'm using, okay? It's all about you, it's not about me. Right? Have a fantastic Sunday. I will see you next week, same time, same bat channel, for another Rise and Row Along. Until then, take care, be well, bye-bye. And now we get to the bit where I do the leave stream thing. Click. Do I want to end stream?